Good afternoon. Welcome to buildingcredibility.com. Today is myth-busting day. We're going to sit down with Jeff Lake of Mountain West Bank, and we're going to kind of run through some of the issues of getting a home loan today, because we were actually sitting together at the agent-to-agent meeting where Butch Otter was the featured speaker, and before he got up and did his thing, Jeff and I were talking about some of the misnomers and what's going on. I was like, this is a podcast, so we got to get together Monday. So here it is, Monday, 10 o'clock, and we're going to talk about some of the things that's going on. So first of all, tell me some of the things, Jeff, that you think people believe right now that are not true.
I think some of the things that the people are believing right now that aren't true is that they have to have 20% down payment. They have to have 800 credit scores, or they're not going to qualify to purchase a home. That just simply isn't the case. The state of Idaho does a great job of making some things available to us through a couple of different programs. One being the Idaho Housing Association, or IHA loan. I'm sure you've heard about it. It's a good first-time home buyer program in Ada County. You must be a first-time home buyer in Ada County. In Canyon County, it's a targeted county, so that does not apply. You can use that program whether you are or aren't a first-time home buyer. The great thing about that is there is funds available up to 97%, and then grant funds available up to $20,000 to help you purchase a home. All those things are based on income qualifiers and some certain things you have to meet criteria to get there, but it's a pretty easy deal. You can go to any lender who supports IHA financing, and they can help you through that process.
So let's just do some I know it's a big question, but let's do some basic math. Let's say I make what's the average? What would you say the average wage in this area is?
Average wage here they're looking at is about $56,300.
So let's say I make $56,000 and I'm a pay my bills on time. What are you looking for to help me get the best loan possible?
When I'm looking at you, I'm going to look at your income qualifier, your credit score, and then I'm going to look at whether or not you were a first-time home buyer previously. If you weren't a first-time home buyer and you're looking in Ada County, I'm going to probably take you to that IHA program because it has the best rate available today.
Real quick, what would you say a minimum target credit score should be for someone? And obviously it can be repaired, but what should your minimum target be?
On IHA, you're going to look to be a 620 or better.
That's not horrible. That's pretty basic.
Absolutely. Now, I will say with another program out there that we haven't talked about yet, but it's the USDA Rural Development Loan. Now, that is only available in targeted areas, and the big areas around here are Kuna, Middleton, and Star. That does not have a credit score qualifier that goes with it. You do have to have some sort of a credit history, but we can do some explaining away of some negative credit to make it work for you. And that's a true 100% program with no mortgage insurance that you have to have on top of that.
What are the catches?
The catches are you have to be in a targeted area. So you're looking at, like I said, Kuna, Middleton, Star. So what they're trying to do is increase people moving into those areas to increase their population, because it's obviously a rural development, rural program. So that's the big things. You have to want to live in those areas.
What other myths do we need to talk about that are out there?
I think one of the big myths is you hear a lot of people saying, well, I might be interested in buying soon, but I'm waiting for the bottom. The bottom is such a subjective thing. It's really one of those albatrosses out there flying around that it's really hard to quantify what that is. Some people think of the bottom as the lowest price possible. Some of them think of the bottom as prices are starting to rebound. But the key is, if you are listening to the media and the normal places you're going to find your news, and they're telling you you're at the bottom, you've already missed it. So the big key, I would say, is talk to somebody in the industry. Talk to a realtor, talk to a title person, talk to a lender, somebody who's around it every day. Another thing about the bottom is, if you are looking at interest rates, today happens to be the 24th of November, and the rate today is 5.75. Well, if that rate happens to go up to 6 or 6.25, then the amount you're paying, if you're even $10,000 less, is going to be more than you're paying at 5.75. So in all reality, our society is a cash flow based society. So if you're looking for the bottom on a cash flow based decision, you're going to have to look at it as what is the least amount per month I'm paying, not necessarily what's the least amount price tag I'm paying.
Right.
So there's a lot of different ways to quantify that bottom. Another big thing that I hear people saying out there is, well, I don't want to get involved with a realtor because they're just going to charge me more when I buy that home. Well, if you're a buyer, that's really not the case, because I don't know any time that I've seen a realtor go, oh, you know what, I'm a listing agent and I've already got this set up for a 6% commission. I'm just going to give 3% back to you in the price because I'm not going to have to take that because you didn't bring your own agent. That might happen on a very rare occasion, but in my opinion, that 3% that's included in that price to have true representation on my end, number one, you're probably going to save on the price of the home because you're going to have somebody representing your interests. And number two, for me, it's just a peace of mind to have somebody there that is really my agent. The selling agent's going to be doing exactly that, working for the seller, and their job is to get the seller the most amount possible for what they're trying to sell.
Any recommendations on how to find a realtor?
I think the best recommendation would probably be call your local board of realtors, talk to friends and family, get somebody you know has done a good job. I would always want to look for somebody who has been a very successful person, knows what they've been doing, has been in the industry for a while, because it's really important to have that experience behind you.
Very cool. What about foreclosures? Tell me about what's your experience, and tell me the banking side of buying a foreclosure.
I think buying a foreclosure can be great, but you better be prepared for the ride it takes to do that. Buying a foreclosure is going to probably take you 2 to 3 times the amount of time that it takes you just to buy a house that's on for a normal sale. Short sales, number one, have to be approved by the bank. And the banks have different divisions. They have one division that takes your offer up front, and then it goes to a department called the loss mitigation department. What they do is they crunch all the numbers, figure in all their fees, figure out how much they're paying in commissions, and then they make a decision on whether or not they can sell it for the agreed upon sales price. I've actually had cases where it's been 2 or 3 days before the supposed closing date, and the banks come back and just said, you know what, we can't afford to sell it for that price, so we're going to rescind our acceptance and move on to the next deal. So realize it's a game for the banks.
A game. That's a horrible way to look at it.
Well, that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to mitigate their loss.
Yeah, that's true.
So the whole point is they're looking to get as much money from you as they possibly can.
Even at a loss,
even
though.
At a loss. So there's no guarantees that an agreed upon contract amount is going to be, in fact, the agreed upon sales price when it all comes to fruition.
So, Jeff, would you say that now is a good time to buy or not, and why?
I would say that a good time to buy is really determined on a case-by-case basis.
Political.
Well, but I will say this, though. If you are looking for a home and you think you can get a good price compared to what you're looking for, you're going to get a good rate, and you're happy with the payment, and you're making an investment for the future, because really that's what a home is. If you look at it, 90% of America has built their wealth through real estate investing, even if it's owning 1 home or 10 homes. So I would say what you have to look at is it the right time for you? Not what the media is telling you, not what America is saying as a whole, but is it the right time for you? It's a personal decision.
Thank you for saying that. I completely agree.
So I just think that when you get told by other people, oh, you don't want to buy right now, you really got to take that and put it into your own spectrum, really look at it from what's good for your family. I can tell you now, looking at appraisals, when I'm looking at appraisals on these deals I'm doing and I see the cost approach being $50,000 or $60,000 than what the actual value the appraiser is saying it's worth, that to me tells me that it's a good time to buy value-wise. Yeah. Because what they're saying is it's going to cost a builder this much more to build that house than you can buy it for today. So in that vein, I think it's a good time value-wise to buy. You might not be buying at the absolute bottom, but you're making money just buying today.
Any recommendations for someone looking to buy a foreclosure?
I think the biggest thing is to find a realtor who knows how to handle that process. And there's some realtors out there that have their websites and they talk about the fact that they're foreclosure specialists. Was it 4 years ago, everybody's a relocation specialist.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's important to really look at their resume, ask them for letters of reference, make phone calls, check with the board of realtors, make sure there's no complaints against them. Because it's real important to know that you're working with somebody who's got a good reputation and knows what they're doing.
Very cool. Jeff, thank you for your time today. Tell me your contact information.
You can reach me at Mountain West Bank. My phone number here at the office is 884-6851, or my cell phone is 371-1508, and I'm happy to answer questions anytime.
Email
jlake@mtnwb.com.
Jeff, we thank you for your time today, and if you need a loan, get a hold of Jeff. He would love to help you out.